Most people lose battles not because they're weak, but because they're predictable. They wear their emotions like armor, speak too soon, and trust too easily. In this video, we will break down the 5 unspoken laws that allow the few to outsmart, outmaneuver, and ultimately dominate the many, without ever appearing as the villain. Rule number 1T. The greatest illusion in the world is the illusion of truth. It is not reality that governs people, but their perception of it. This is the first law for those who desire not just influence, but total control. He who masters perception commands reality, not only for himself, but for all who dare to watch, follow, or resist. You do not need to be good, you only need to appear good. You do not need to have power, you only need to be perceived as powerful. The rest will fall into place, as the mind of the masses submits not to what is real, but to what looks real. In any struggle for dominance, the battlefield is not land, nor law, nor legacy. It is the mind. Most people believe what they see, and what they see is not the truth. It is only a reflection, carefully shaped by those who understand this principle. Therefore, if you want to control outcomes, shape the lens through which others view you. A man seen as righteous can commit crimes in plain sight and be praised. A man seen as dangerous can do nothing at all and still be punished. This is the weapon of perception. It strikes before any sword is drawn. There are 2 layers to the human experience, the visible and the hidden. The visible is what they watch. The smiles, the handshakes, the words you speak in the public eye. The hidden is where your true ambition resides. The calculation, the manipulation, the strategic arrangement of events. The wise never show both at once. They project virtue, while engineering control from the shadows. If others believe you are honest, they lower their guard. If they think you are just, they grant you authority. If they view you as incapable of evil, they will never suspect you of being its architect. Perception is the gateway to influence. A reputation once established becomes armor and weapon both. It protects you from suspicion and grants you the ability to deceive without resistance. If you wear the mask of benevolence long enough, people will begin to see that mask as your face. Their loyalty will not be to you, but to the illusion you created, and this illusion will do your bidding more effectively than any command or force. It will cause them to defend your actions, excuse your flaws, and interpret your every move as noble, even if it is done in pursuit of self-interest alone. To shape perception, begin with consistency. A single act of virtue is not enough. It must be repeated until it becomes identity. Speak as if you care, even when you do not. Show empathy, especially when your strategy requires ruthlessness. Offer help where it costs you nothing. If it buys you the image of compassion, let them see you work in the light, even if your real efforts are carried out in darkness. Feed their image of who they want you to be, and they will project that image onto everything you do. Be cautious of speaking your mind too freely. The more people know your true thoughts, the less power you have over their assumptions. Silence invites projection. If you remain mysterious, others will fill in the blanks in your favor. They will see wisdom where there is calculation, depth where there is strategy. Never clarify if confusion serves you. Let your enemies argue over your true intentions while you move unchallenged. The more unpredictable you appear, the more control you exert over their expectations. The art of perception is not about lies. It is about selective truth. You do not need to fabricate an entirely false identity. Instead, emphasize certain truths while concealing others. Reveal what elevates you, hide what exposes you. Even virtue, when real, must be moderated and measured. Too much goodness becomes suspicious. Too much transparency is dangerous. People trust balance, they distrust extremes. Master this balance, and they will trust even the persona you wear to deceive them. In politics, in business, in every human hierarchy, perception rules all. He who is feared is obeyed, but he who is respected and beloved is obeyed with gratitude. Combine both, and you become untouchable. Your enemies will fear to oppose you. Your allies will fight to protect you. But neither group will see your true face. They will see only what you allow them to see, what you design for them to believe. And in doing so, they will move exactly as you require, thinking it was their own idea all along. Rule number 20: power belongs to the calculated, not the chaotic. In the domain of dominance, the man who acts from emotion is no more than a puppet of circumstance, a reactionary figure forever moved by the actions of others. Anger, resentment, jealousy. These are weapons for those who wish to be destroyed. The intelligent man feels them, yes, but he does not allow them to shape his actions. He holds them in his hand, observes them, and stores them for later use. For to strike in passion is to reveal one's hand, but to strike with precision is to remain in control of both the outcome and the perception. Those who rule from their feelings are slaves to those who manipulate them. Emotion clouds judgment, distorts timing, and weakens execution. It causes men to attack too soon, to speak too loudly, to expose their vulnerabilities in a desperate attempt to relieve internal pressure. Power demands patience. The true master knows how to delay satisfaction. He waits, he watches, he studies every movement, every word, every weakness. When the moment is right, he strikes, not out of rage, but out of necessity. Not to feel better, but to ensure results. An emotional reaction may satisfy the ego, but it forfeits control. It exposes your position and reveals your weaknesses. If you lash out in anger, your enemies learn what provokes you. If you show desperation, they learn where you are weakest. Every uncontrolled expression is intelligence offered freely to those who would use it against you. The wise man offers nothing. He is calm when offended, quiet when accused, and still when provoked. He stores every insult like currency. When the time comes, he spends it with devastating precision. Precision is born from restraint. The sword must remain sheathed until the target is perfectly exposed. No premature swing, no warning signs, no overt threats. Let them believe they are safe. Let them grow bold in your silence. Let them believe you are indifferent. When your strike comes, it will not only be effective, it will be unexpected, and in that shock you will find control. A well-timed move does not just destroy your opponent, unravels the confidence of all who watch. It sends a message not through words, but through undeniable consequence. To strike with precision, you must know what you truly seek. Emotional reactions are often misguided because they are unrefined. They are impulsive attempts to gain power without understanding the structure of the battlefield. A precise strike, by contrast, is tailored for maximum outcome. It considers timing, optics, fallout, and future positioning. It does not simply hurt the target, it benefits you. It is never about revenge, it is about advantage. If your move does not strengthen your position, it is not worth making. The precision striker values elevation, not satisfaction. Even in betrayal, let calculation reign. If you must remove someone, remove them in a way that clears obstacles, consolidates influence, or earns you the allegiance of others. Never act because your pride has been wounded. Act because the removal will shift the balance in your favor. Let others think you are forgiving. Let them think you have moved on. Then, when the right moment appears, when their value has run dry, or when their position becomes a threat, remove them without warning, without hesitation, and without in anger, but in cold, clear certainty. Do not confuse silence with passivity. The most dangerous man in any room is not the one shouting threats, but the one who says nothing at all. He observes. He memorizes. He calculates. While others argue, he plots their collapse. While others boast of victory, he positions the knife behind their spine. His strike is not seen, it is felt, and by the time it arrives, there is no defense. Emotion is a flare in the dark. Precision is the dagger that moves in silence, cuts cleanly, and disappears before anyone knows where it came from. Rule number 30: side dominance does not belong to the strongest, nor to the loudest. It belongs to the one who sees before others see, who moves before others act. The world is not ruled by force, but by foresight. Power is won in the mind before it is ever claimed in the field. To stay ahead is not merely a strategy, it is survival. Those who act only when necessary are already too late. Those who wait to react are puppets on the strings of the planners. If you want to win, you must think not in terms of now, but in terms of what will come next and what lies beyond that. You must think as the architect, not the bricklayer. Anticipation is the invisible hand that guides events toward your favor. Most people live moment to moment, consumed by surface-level distractions, driven by instinct and reaction. They prepare only for the visible threats, and by the time they recognize the real danger, it has already taken root behind them. The wise never allow themselves to be trapped in the present. They treat the present as a means, never as an end. Every conversation, every decision, Every silence is a calculated step toward a future that only they can see clearly. To be 2 steps ahead is to play the long game when others are fixated on the short. It is to understand that immediate victories are not always worth pursuing if they compromise the greater goal. You must know what to delay, what to sacrifice, and what to nurture quietly behind the scenes. Every move must be purposeful, never impulsive. The man who anticipates reactions can provoke them at will. He does not just prepare for the enemy's next move. He engineers it. He sets the stage so precisely that the opponent walks into their own defeat, believing it was their idea all along. No general wins a war by fighting every battle. Some are meant to be avoided, others manipulated from the shadows. By staying ahead, you can choose the battlefield, dictate the terms, and control the timeline. You make others dance while you remain still. It is not enough to be reactive, to block a strike or counter a blow. The master strategist ensures the blow never comes. He neutralizes threats before they fully form. He turns enemies into allies or distractions before they become problems. He is not fast. He is early. Being 2 steps ahead also means understanding people, not just events. You must study the nature of those around you. What do they want? What do they fear? What are their patterns? Once you know what drives them, you will know what they will do before they themselves realize it. Most men repeat their behavior. Their habits, weaknesses, and emotions form predictable loops. Exploit those loops. Make them think they are acting freely, while in reality, they are walking a path you laid brick by brick in silence. Never reveal how far ahead you are. The moment people realize you are playing a deeper game, they will become unpredictable. Let them underestimate you. Let them mock your silence, mistake your patience for passivity, and your smile for simplicity. There is no advantage in being seen as dangerous until it is too late. By the time they discover your depth, their options should already be gone. The ground beneath them should have already shifted. Control the timeline, and you control the game. Even the most powerful opponent becomes powerless when placed in a situation they never expected. Their strength collapses when they are caught unprepared. Surprise is a form of dominance. If they cannot anticipate your moves, they cannot build a defense. While they waste time reacting to what you did yesterday, you are already enacting what you plan for tomorrow. You are already where they are trying to go. You do not meet them at the battle. You meet them at their defeat, and they never understand how they got there, because the war was over before they ever knew it began. Rule number 4C. Loyalty is the most misused currency of power. The weak treat it as a sacred bond, a sentimental oath, something to be earned and returned with equal devotion. The cunning know that loyalty is not an end in itself. It is a means to an end. It is not something you give. It is something you extract. It is not something to serve. It is something to use. To dominate, you must understand that people are loyal not to you, but to the idea of you, to the benefits they receive, to the protection they feel, to the power they hope to access. Your job is to manage that illusion, to keep it intact for as long as it serves your aim. Do not seek loyalty out of need. Need exposes weakness. Instead, build loyalty by creating dependency. People are loyal to what they cannot do without. Make yourself indispensable, not emotionally, but strategically. Control access to what they value: status, money, safety, purpose. And they will bind themselves to you willingly. They will defend you, flatter you, obey you. Not because they love you, but because losing you means losing their own position. This is not betrayal, this is nature. People do not follow kings out of love. They follow out of fear of chaos and hunger for favor. Exploit this quietly. Feed them enough to keep them loyal, but never enough to make them independent. In every circle of power, there are those who pretend to be loyal, and those who appear loyal because it serves them. The truly wise do not rely on declarations or promises. They observe behavior over time. The louder the display of loyalty, the more likely it is false. Those who are truly useful will serve quietly, consistently, and with subtle alignment. Use rewards sparingly, not out of gratitude, but as reinforcements. Condition them, like animals, to associate obedience with gain. If you reward without strategy, you lose leverage. But if every reward feels earned through your favor, they will begin to crave your approval more than the reward itself. Do not confuse your use of loyalty with personal attachment. Sentiment is poison in the hands of power. If someone who has served you well becomes a liability, you must be willing to discard them without hesitation. The truly dominant man sheds loyalty when it no longer serves him. Sentiment delays decisions. Sentiment creates internal conflict, but power demands clarity. It is better to be seen as cold than to be seen as weak. Weakness invites rebellion, coldness inspires fear, and fear sustains control. If betrayal comes, do not be surprised. Loyalty bought can always be sold. It is not the betrayal that matters. It is whether you anticipated it. Prepare for every man's exit the moment he enters. Have a replacement ready, an exit plan in place, and leverage over those who may turn. Make betrayal costly. Make loyalty profitable. Never beg for allegiance. Create a structure in which walking away from you is equivalent to walking into ruin. Then you will not need to beg or plead. They will chain themselves to your will and call it devotion. Loyalty must also be visible. People must believe that others serve you out of admiration. This breeds the illusion that you are worthy of being followed, that there is something uniquely powerful about your presence. Curate your circle. Eliminate anyone who wavers in public. Display loyalty as spectacle. If others see you surrounded by devoted allies, they will hesitate to oppose you. They will fear that you command an invisible army, that your influence is deeper than it appears. And if ever you must punish disloyalty, do it ruthlessly and without delay. Not to seek revenge, but to send a signal. One man punished in public ensures silence in 100 others. You are not here to make friends, to build brotherhoods, or to cultivate heartfelt alliances. You are here to command, to shape perception, to create a structure of obedience that appears voluntary, but is forged through fear, dependence, and manipulation. You will be called cruel, distant, calculated. But these are words spoken by those too naive to understand how power truly operates. Rule number 5. The truth has no power unless it is believed. Reality itself bends beneath the weight of perception. To dominate in any environment, social, political, or strategic, you must understand that facts are irrelevant unless they are framed, and that silence is dangerous unless it is intentional. Whoever controls the narrative controls the battlefield. Words shape belief, and belief governs behavior. Men will die for lies they believe to be truth, and they will ignore truth if it contradicts their comfort. The wise do not argue over what is real. They decide what is real in the eyes of others. Power is not taken by force alone. It is taken by story. Symbols, language, and image are the most effective tools in bending the masses. You must appear strong, even if you are not. You must appear noble, even when your actions are cold. Let others see what they want to see, while you maneuver behind the mask. Create a persona that shields your strategy. The public sees a figurehead. Only a few ever glimpse the engineer behind the illusion. Never allow the truth of your intentions to be revealed unless you gain more from its exposure than its concealment. Control is not just having the upper hand. It is controlling what others think you are doing with it. Build narratives before your enemies do. If you leave the space empty, they will fill it. If they define you first, you will always be reacting. But if you strike first with your version of events, you put them on the defensive. Make yourself the source of interpretation. When you control how a situation is framed, you control how others respond to it. Even your failures can be reframed as strategic withdrawals. Even your betrayals can be spun as acts of necessity or misunderstood loyalty. The public does not think in depth. They remember what is repeated, what is simple, what is confidently delivered. Speak with certainty, even when you are lying, especially when you are lying. To control the narrative, you must master timing. Reveal only what benefits you and bury what does not. A half-truth delivered at the right time can eclipse a full truth revealed too late. Feed information in layers. Guide opinion slowly, water carving a canyon, subtle, persistent, inevitable. Let your enemies drown in their own honesty, while you steer perception like a seasoned actor in a script you wrote long before the curtain rose. Public opinion is not about integrity. It is about momentum. Once your version takes hold, it becomes increasingly difficult to dismantle. Fear and admiration are born in the same place. Impression. When people admire you, they protect your narrative. They defend it against contradiction, even in your absence. Build alliances with those who benefit from your story. Give them a reason to spread your myth, to amplify your image. Let them carry your legend in places you do not walk. You do not have to shout if others are shouting on your behalf. Every empire, whether political or personal, is supported not by truth but by shared fiction. Maintain that fiction and the structure holds. Allow it to collapse, and so does your power. Silence, when intentional, is also a tool of narrative. Sometimes saying nothing says more than speaking. Let your silence be perceived as strength, as mystery, as disinterest in petty matters. This creates space for others to speculate. And when they speculate in your favor, you win without lifting a finger. When the silence makes them uneasy, they will fill in the gaps with fear. And fear is a far more potent form of obedience than understanding. You must also be prepared to destroy alternative narratives. If someone threatens your version of events, isolate them. Discredit them or drown their voice in noise. Do not allow dissent to gain traction. If a rival begins to reshape how others see you, act swiftly, not emotionally, but strategically. Undermine their credibility, sow doubt about their motives, paint them as envious or deluded. Let their words seem desperate, reactive, untrustworthy. In time, even truth sounds like madness if spoken by someone already perceived as unstable or irrelevant. Appear the hero when it is useful. Appear the martyr when it earns sympathy. Appear the villain if it inspires fear and obedience. But above all, never allow others to write your story for you, because power is not about what you do. It is about what they believe you are doing, and why the world is not governed by justice, fairness, or merit. It is governed by perception, control, and strategy. The men who rise are not always the best, but they are the most prepared, the most ruthless, and the most intelligent in the art of manipulation. To outsmart anyone, you do not need to outmuscle them. You need to outthink them, outmaneuver them, and outlast them. You have learned that rule is not maintained through kindness, but through calculated fear and orchestrated loyalty. You understand now that influence is not earned by honesty, but by appearing useful and necessary. To dominate, you must master silence, anticipate every move, and always appear one step less dangerous than you truly are. You must convert loyalty into leverage and turn truth into narrative. This is not a path for the sentimental. It is a discipline for those who desire more than approval. For those who are tired of being used, ignored, or underestimated, these 5 laws are not suggestions. They are weapons. And in a world of deception, distraction, and emotional weakness, those who dare to play the deeper game hold the strings of fate in their hands.